Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to discuss the topic abortion. Abortion is defined as expulsion or extraction of an embryo or a fetus weighing 500 grams or less from its mother when it is not capable of independent survival. There are multiple of definitions which are used in different textbooks relating to the definition of the abortion. The most common one or the easiest one given in the 10 teachers is it is the loss of pregnancy at or before 24 completed weeks. तो ये स्टैंडर्ड वाली डेफिनेशन आप लोगों ने इसमें यूज करनी है. The incidence of abortion is 10 to 20% of all clinical pregnancies, out of which 75% abortions occur before the 16th week. The rates vary with the maternal age, also high in women with previous history of the miscarriages. With advancing maternal age, the quality of oocyte becomes poor. That's why with increasing maternal age, there is increased risk of miscarriages. Similarly, a woman having previous history of miscarriage, she has more chances or risk of next abortion. Abortion is divided into two main categories. One is the spontaneous or a sporadic abortion, and second one is the induced abortion. The spontaneous or sporadic abortion is again divided into two main categories. One is the isolated one or recurrent miscarriage. Recurrent miscarriage is when a woman has 3 or more consecutive miscarriages. This is called recurrent miscarriages. And isolated miscarriages when she has isolated or a scattered miscarriage. The isolated or scattered miscarriage is subdivided into different types depending upon clinical manifestations and investigations. One is threatened abortion, another one is the inevitable abortion, then is the complete abortion, then incomplete abortion, either missed abortion or a septic abortion. The etiology of abortion contains many factors. The factors can be in the fetus, it can be in the mother, or it can be in the environment. The fetal factors are either genetic causes, multiple pregnancies, or degeneration of villi. The most common cause among the fetal factors is the genetic cause. 50% of early miscarriages are due to chromosomal abnormalities. The chromosomal abnormalities can be in the number of the chromosomes or a defect in the structure of the chromosome. Numerical defects like trisomy, polyploidy, and monosomy, they lead to sporadic or isolated miscarriages. Similarly, the structural defects like translocations, deletions, or inversions, they also lead to miscarriages. Among the maternal factors, endocrine and metabolic factors account for 10 to 15% of the miscarriages. Either there will be defect in the luteal phase, or the mother may complain of thyroid abnormalities like hyper or hypothyroidism, or she may have diabetes mellitus. Controlled diabetes is not associated with miscarriages. It is the poorly controlled diabetes which leads to abortions. 10 to 15% of cases may have the anatomical abnormalities of the genital tract. These abnormalities can be in the cervix or in the uterus. Cervical factors are cervical incompetence or insufficiency. Cervical incompetence means the cervix, the cervical os is either open or dilated during pregnancy with funneling of the amniotic membranes, which increases the risk of ascending infection and miscarriages. The congenital malformations of the uterus, which can be acquired or congenital. Congenital malformations of uterus are double uterus, septate uterus, unicornuate uterus. All these factors leads to miscarriages. Uterine fibroid. If the uterine placental implantation is at the site of a fibroid, there is placental deficiency which eventually leads to miscarriages. Intrauterine adhesions are the acquired causes of the abortions, like intrauterine adhesions after evacuation or instrumentation of the uterine cavity. Infections account for 5% of the miscarriages. Infections can be viral, parasitic, or bacterial. Different viruses, for example, rubella, cytomegalovirus, and human immunodeficiency viruses, these can lead to increased risk of miscarriages. Similarly, toxoplasma, malaria, ureaplasma, chlamydia, they can also lead to miscarriages. In 5 to 10% of cases, there may be immunological disorders like autoimmune diseases, alloimmune diseases, or anti-fetal antibodies. There are certain environmental factors which can also lead to miscarriages like cigarette smoking, alcohol consumption, or a contraceptive agents. So the general advice to the women is given during pregnancy to stop cigarette smoking, reduce alcohol consumption, and avoid contraceptive agents. Different maternal medical illnesses like cyanotic heart diseases and hemoglobinopathies can also contribute to the miscarriages. Among all these causes, 40 to 60% of cases will have unexplained abortion. It means that after thorough clinical investigation, the woman fails to have any cause of miscarriages. So, majority of the cases are unexplained cases, while in 40% of cases, there may be a known cause for that miscarriage. Now, one by one, we will discuss the different types of spontaneous miscarriages, their clinical presentations, their investigations, and how to manage them. Now, the first one is the threatened abortion. Threatened means the process of miscarriage has not been taken, but there is a threat that if proper treatment is not given, she may have ended in a complete miscarriage. So, condition in which miscarriage has started but has not progressed to a state from which recovery is impossible. So patients with threatened miscarriage presents with a history of amenorrhea of varying degree. It either be a first trimester or a second trimester. She may complain of vaginal bleeding, which is usually slight in amount, and she may develop pain. There may be mild backache or dull pain in the lower abdomen. When we do examination, the uterus and cervix feel soft. On digital examination, the external os is usually closed. The differential diagnosis includes cervical ectopy, polyp or a carcinoma, ectopic pregnancy, and a molar pregnancy. These differential diagnoses will be investigated one by different clinical investigations, either local examination or an ultrasound examination. Ultrasound examination is the diagnostic for the different types of miscarriages. Ultrasound is usually avoided. Pelvic examination is usually avoided when facility for ultrasound are available. Among the ultrasound, TVS examination has more accuracy in diagnosing different types of miscarriages. This is a picture showing a threatened miscarriage, showing a fetus inside the uterine cavity with few blood clots passing through the internal os and then through the vagina. But the actual process has started, but it has not led to the miscarriage. There is only threat of abortion. Now the management. Usually the patients are advised bed rest for a few days. She is given painkillers like simple Panadol for a few days for the relief of a pain. 80% of pregnancies with threatened abortion go on until term. If a live fetus is seen on ultrasound, then pregnancy is likely to continue in more than 95% of the cases. If pregnancy continues, then there is risk of increased frequency of preterm labor, placenta previa, and IUGR. So these patients should have repeated ultrasound examinations and proper antenatal care to prevent and tackle these complications in time. The second type is the inevitable. inevitable abortion. It is the clinical type of abortion where the changes have progressed to a state from where continuation of pregnancy is impossible, means the process has started and it cannot be reverted back. The clinical features of inevitable abortions are: the patients may have a previous history of threatened miscarriage. She may present with vaginal bleeding of varying amount. She may have colicky pain in the lower abdomen. Sometimes the features may develop quickly without prior clinical evidence of threatened miscarriage. On internal examination, the internal os is usually open and the products of conception are felt through the cervical os. This is a picture of inevitable abortion where the normal placental side has removed, it has been detached from the uterine cavity. The fetus is lying in the lower uterine segment with varying degree of bleeding. The management is aimed to accelerate the process of expulsion and to maintain the strict asepsis. So if the gestation of pregnancy is less than 12 weeks, then evacuation and curettage is done. If pregnancy is more than 12 weeks, then expulsion is done by the oxytocin infusion. General measures like excessive bleeding is controlled by giving methergine injection in a dose of 0.2 milligram. The blood loss is corrected by IV fluid therapy and blood transfusion. All these management options like expectant management, surgical management, and medical management, their risks and benefits, they are discussed with the patients, and depending upon the clinical scenario or presentation of the patient, different treatment options are opted and the choice of the patient is respected as well. Now, the incomplete abortion in which the process of abortion has already taken place, but the entire products of conception are not expelled and a part or a piece of it is left inside the uterine cavity. The patients with incomplete abortion gives history of expulsion of a fleshy mass per vaginum. She may have continuation of pain in the lower abdomen and there may be persistent vaginal bleeding. On internal examination, the uterus feels smaller than period of gestation. The internal os is usually open and there is varying amount of bleeding. On examination, the expelled mass is found incomplete, which means that products of conception, some of the products of conception are retained inside the uterine cavity. These retained products may cause different complications, like she may present with a heavy period bleeding after some time. Due to ascending infection, she may present with sepsis, or sometimes these retained products may develop placental polyp. This is a picture of incomplete abortion where the uterine cavity is empty. The products or pieces of conception are lying in the internal os with varying amount of bleeding. The management of incomplete abortion is the removal of retained products of conception. In early abortion, dilatation and curettage under analgesia or general anesthesia is usually done. And in late abortions, that is after 12 weeks, uterus is evacuated under GA and the products are removed by either using an ovum forceps or by the blunt curettage. In late cases, dilatation and curettage is to be done to remove the bits of tissues left behind, because these retained products or placental tissues later on can develop serious complications in the patients. Aseptic techniques are used and prophylactic antibiotics are also given to reduce the risk of sepsis. The material which is taken out from the uterine cavity, they are sent for histological examination. The medical management of incomplete abortion is tablet misoprostol, which is given in a dose of 200 microgram. It is used vaginally every 4 hours to a maximum of 5 doses. Misoprostol increases the uterine contraction and expels the products of conception. Complete abortion is a type of abortion when the products of conception are completely expelled from the uterus. and the uterine cavity is usually empty. The patients with complete abortion gives a history of expulsion of a fleshy mass per vaginum followed by subsidence of abdominal pain. Vaginal bleeding also subsides. On internal examination, the uterus feels smaller than period of gestation. Cervical os is usually closed, and there may not be bleeding. On transvaginal ultrasound confirms that the uterus or uterine cavity is absent, which confirms the diagnosis of the complete abortion. The management of complete abortion is expectant management. As all the products have been expelled, there is no use of dilatation and evacuation. The patient is usually counseled and sent home back. Now the missed abortion. Missed abortion is a type of abortion in the fetus is dead, but it is retained passively inside the uterus for a variable period. It is diagnosed when there is a fetus with a crown rump length of 5 mm without a fetal heart. When the fetus is present inside the uterus, but the fetal heart sounds are absent. This is called a missed abortion. Now, the patient usually presents with features of threatened miscarriage, followed by subsidence of pregnancy symptoms like nausea and vomiting. The uterus usually feels smaller inside than period of gestation, and the cervix, rather than feeling soft, it feels firm with closed internal os. On TVS ultrasound, the fetal heart sounds would be absent, and on beta HCG examination, it becomes negative if the test is done 10 days after missed abortion. The complications are retaining the products for a long time can lead to sepsis, and she may develop disseminated intravascular coagulation. Although it's a very rare condition, but it's a very serious condition, especially in gestations exceeding 16 weeks. If the products are retained for more than 4 weeks, they are not expelled, they are not removed, then these dead fetus, the dead tissue, placental tissue, can lead to disseminated intravascular coagulation. The management is if the uterus is less than 12 weeks, then either medical or surgical treatment. Both options can be discussed with the patients and the option chosen with the help of the discussion. The medical treatment includes prostaglandin E1 by the name of misoprostol. 800 milligrams means 4 tablets. They are placed vaginally and repeated. 2 tablets are repeated after every 4 hours, and expulsion usually occurs within 48 hours. The surgical treatment or management option is the suction evacuation. It can be done under analgesia and general anesthesia if the medical treatment fails. If the uterus is more than 12 weeks, then misoprostol tablets are given vaginally first. If this fails, then another method, we call it extra-amniotic instillation of medication, they are used. Along with these medications, antibiotics are also given to expel the missed products. Septic abortion is abortion which is associated with the clinical evidences of infection of the uterus and its contents. The most common cause is any attempt at illegal or induced abortion by an untrained person without the use of aseptic precautions. The grading of the sepsis is grade 1, where the infection is localized in the uterus. The grade 2 is type where the infection spreads beyond the uterus to the either parametrium, to the tubes, ovaries, or pelvic peritoneum. And grade 3 is when there is generalized peritonitis with signs and features of endotoxic shock or jaundice or acute renal failure. Grade 1 is the commonest type, and it is usually associated with spontaneous abortion. The clinical features of septic abortions are patients usually complains of high-grade fever with abdominal pain, vomiting, or diarrhea. and if the pulse rate is taken, it would be more than 100 to 120 per minute. It indicates the spread of infection beyond the uterus. On examination, abdomen palpation would be tenderness, there would be guarding and rigidity. On internal examination, there is offensive purulent vaginal discharge, uterus feels tender, usually with patulous os or a boogie feel. The soft cervix with the open internal os. In case of septic abortions, we do complete blood count, take the blood for grouping and cross-matching. 1 unit of blood is arranged. Other investigations like serum urea, creat, electrolytes, they are taken. As there is offensive vaginal discharge, so high vaginal swab is taken, sent for culture sensitivity. In case of spiking fever, blood cultures are also taken to check the sensitivity to antibiotics. Pelvic ultrasound is done to detect retained products of conception. In cases of attempt of previous miscarriages or acute abdomen, X-ray erect abdomen is taken in cases for suspected bowel injury. X-ray chest is sometimes taken if there is difficulty in respiration. The complications of septic abortions are immediate complications and late complications. Immediate complications are hemorrhages or bleeding from maybe from the cervix or from the uterus. There may be injury to the uterus or adjacent structures. In case of spread of infection, it can lead to generalized peritonitis, endotoxic shock, and the most common organism involved in endotoxic shock is the E. coli. She may develop disseminated intravascular coagulation or acute renal failure or thrombophlebitis. All these complications leads to increased maternal mortality. The management is if patient presents with mild clinical symptoms of sepsis, broad spectrum antibiotics are given. The uterus is evacuated after 48 hours cover of the antibiotics. In severe cases, IV fluids are given like crystalloids. High flow oxygen is given by the nasal frogs. Broad spectrum antibiotics having a combination of ampicillin, gentamicin, and metronidazole is given, and the uterus is evacuated 24 hours after commencing the therapy to avoid the risk of uterine perforation. Recurrent miscarriages is loss of 3 or more consecutive pregnancies at or before 24 completed weeks is called recurrent miscarriages. Recurrent miscarriages is out of the scope for undergraduates, so we will not discuss this topic today. Thank you.